Rollin Thunder at the park at OWA is the signature coaster of the park, located in Foley, Alabama. This Zamperla Thunderbolt clone, specifically the Layout 1 model, is one of 3 in the world, with the other 2 located at Luna Park in New York and Gyeongam Robot Land in South Korea.
Finished in 2017, this coaster features 2,234 feet of track, a height of 115 feet, 4 inversions, and a vertical lift hill to start it all off.
This layout is relatively compact. It's basically an out and back right through the center of the park, but there are some interesting inversions that differentiate this coaster from some similar models.
Right after that vertical lift hill, you drop straight into a 98-foot loop, which is basically as tall as the lift hill itself. Bust out of that into a zero-G roll and then transition into a somewhat bizarre overbanked curve. After that, it's straight into a dive loop, which turns you back around and into 2 back-to-back massive airtime hills. One final corkscrew flips you around and into another hill, then the brake run, and back into the station to complete your ride.
Let's start with the positives. This thing is absolutely gorgeous to watch. From the ground, it looks and sounds smooth and forceful, which is exactly what you want from a coaster of this magnitude. And then there's the airtime. Oh boy, the airtime. I'm not exaggerating when I say that Rollin Thunder has some of the best ejector I've ever experienced, and there are multiple points on this ride where you will achieve full-on NASA-grade liftoff. As for forces, the only really intense G's on this ride come straight after the dive loop, but you'll definitely feel it in your face as you pull up and away from the ground at the bottom. Now for the negatives, and I hate to say it, but some of these are major detractors from the ride. I've heard this model described as both smooth and rough before, so I wasn't exactly sure what to expect before riding. But as soon as I started climbing the lift hill, that ear-piercing rattle delivered the sonic omen I was dreading. This coaster is rough. Very rough. Rough enough that I would describe the roughest parts of this ride as unbearable. After riding this twice, my wife and I both began to anticipate the sections where we would need to brace ourselves, but even then, all that did was add an unwelcome element of survival to our experience. The roughness isn't aided at all by strange restraints, which feature both a vest and a lap device. And all of that is on top of a train that acts more like a shopping cart than anything else.
So let's break this down into our 3 review elements: theme, thrill, and rideability.
For me, although there's really no theming at this park in general, the coaster itself acts as the centerpiece, and those spectacular off-ride views it provides makes it enjoyable to watch and be around, which for me makes it a solid 3 out of 5. In the thrills category, while there's so much promise in the design of this coaster, it only partly delivers. By far, the most enjoyable part of this ride is the airtime, and probably for that ejector alone, I'm forced to give it a 3 out of 5. And last, rideability. This coaster isn't just rough enough to give you a headache, it's rough enough to give you a head wound. As great as some of those elements are, after 3 rides, I had to call it quits, both for my own personal enjoyment as well as my own safety. For me, that's a hard 1 out of 5.
For an overall score, Rollin Thunder earns itself a 2 out of 5. It's an enjoyable ride once or twice, but it takes away more from the rider than it actually gives.
That's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and make sure to subscribe and stay tuned for future ride reviews here on the channel.
I'm Tess.
I'm Adam.
And we hope to see you again soon here on Theme Park Blitz.